Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Power of Integrity podcast show. I'm delighted to have our guest, Barbara Wainwright, Wainwright Global, an author, a teacher, a life coach. Really a interesting path that she has taken. I'm going to give her an opportunity to tell you about it, but I can tell you what a delight and what a delightful conversation we're in for. Barbara, why don't you tell us a little bit about your path, anything that you want to personally, professionally share with our audience that you think could be insightful and can kind of clue them in on who you are and what you're all about.
All right. Well, I have a long history. I've been out there for a long time doing what I absolutely love. I feel very blessed to have always had a career that I am fully passionate about. I started out with software development and I loved that. It's very much like jigsaw puzzles. Everything has to fit perfectly or it doesn't work. And so it was always like putting all the puzzle pieces together and making it all work. And the great thing about software is that 1 plus 1 always makes 2. And for a long time while I was working, and I was definitely a workaholic, and while I was working and doing that, I also was not doing my relationships and people not very well. And so I struggled with relationships and people, and that's why programming was such a draw for me, because there was no emotion. It was very logical. I'm very logical. And so when people would have emotions about stuff, it'd be like, a deer in the headlights, like, whoa, what's all that? Where's that coming from? So after programming, or while I was doing programming, I noticed there was something else that I was feeling really called to do, but I couldn't put my finger on it. So I tried a whole bunch of different things, like different classes. I took, I became a certified spiritual counselor. I looked into crystals and healing modalities, and I just got into a lot of metaphysical type classes and courses and a lot of books on psychology, and just trying to figure out people. I was like, what is this? I don't get it. I don't understand, because I'm just so logical, so linear. Anyway, after about 10 years of really searching and hunting it down, I came across coaching, and that was back in 2005. And wow, it was just such a big eye opener and awakening, because coaching was exactly what I was looking for. It was helping people to think more logically, more strategically, more tactical, right? So that they could actually take steps to accomplish the goals that they wanted to do. So um, I think coaching really for me it's about helping people to think differently. And one of the things I talk about when somebody gets ready to hire a coach, their best thinking got them right to where they are today, right? So they might need help with thinking differently, looking at things from a different perspective, different viewpoint, and also getting maybe mentoring. Even mentoring is really helpful too for somebody when they're getting ready to grow. So between the mentoring and the coaching, people can have dramatic life changes. And you happen to share a little bit about that yourself. You had a coach way back when. I'd love to hear about that.
Oh, gosh. Uh, you're the guest, but I'll be happy to take over that role for a second. Yes,
Okay.
I had a life coach that turned the spotlight on me. Before I walked into that first appointment and session, and there were 26 of those sessions, no less than 26. I was
Nice.
kind of a slow learner because his advertisement said is in as little as 4 to 6 sessions. And I had said, Jay, I've been here now 26 times. We meet for no less than 2 hours each time. And you said 4 to 6 sessions would be sufficient in the beginning in your advertisement. That was false advertising. He said, well, Ralph, you have to understand, and this was his perspective, having also studied astrology. He said, you're a Taurus, Ralph, and as a Taurus, you're a little stubborn. But when you get this, you'll really get this. And so that's kind of a sideline to the essence of what transpired. So I spent a lot of time with this life coach. It was very transformative, and he turned the spotlight on integrity and authenticity, believe it or not.
Nice.
He
There.
said he said to me, everything in life is self-responsibly created. And I said, of course we have to be self-responsible. He said, no, it's deeper than that. You are
Mm,
generating your reality. And
yes.
if you're generating your reality, what's washing up on your shore and on your doorstep is not there by accident.
That's right.
So I said, you mean the guy who cut me off today on my way here? He said, there's no accidents and no coincidences. Try to appreciate for a moment, if that was possible, what contribution did you have and what hand did you have in that outcome of those that crossed you and those entanglements that are happening in your life. And it set me on a quest to study all sorts of things, including quantum physics. So the metaphysical, and in quantum physics has a wonderful saying: never underestimate the importance of nonsense, because at a quantum level, everything is nonsensical. And
Love that.
yes, and so the Newtonian traditional physics of A plus B and C for every action equal an opposite reaction, and things don't work that way at a quantum level. So at a global level or a larger level, things seem to have a very linear connection, and we think we can identify the perpetrator and the victim, and we think we can identify the culprit and the one who's been perpetrated. And the fact of the matter is, his argument was, if there's somebody compromising your world, you had a hand in creating that, and that the universe settles all scores. And so, wow, my mind was blown, and I thought, geez, if the world is going to settle all scores, I better clean up my act at a deep, deep level. And that meant not just in everything I acted, everything I said, and everything I thought, and even those things that were below the surface. And so I didn't mean to steal the
No, this is
platform
so,
here about that,
because
but
that leads to the name of the show, The Power of Integrity. And that's what happens when you start digging deep inside. I think so anyway. When you start digging deep inside and you find and you discover, I'll say, your true self, right? That spirit within you. And this is kind of my mission is, I believe that everybody has a divine purpose, that we all incarnated with something that we're meant to gift back to the world. And discovering what that is and finding what that is, and then starting to take steps and act on it, that is so important. And that comes back to what you said about authenticity. When you are working from your spirit and bringing that out into the world, that's where the authenticity comes from, right? And then integrity is such a key piece of that, because if you aren't true to your word, who are you betraying? Yourself and your spirit. And I mean, besides whatever impact you might be having out there in the world, if you're not true to your word, but still, you're really hurting yourself and you're not being true. So being true to your word, having integrity and being authentic, I believe, are the keys to living a very fulfilling life.
yes, crucial.
Right?
Yeah, and there was a business coach who took this somewhat soft tissue, esoteric concept of authenticity, integrity, and gift, and in your own personal gift. And he would say, if you work with your unique gift in a pragmatic way, you will find several pragmatic outcomes and results. Number one, you will feel fulfilled. You will be energized and more passionate about it while doing what it is that's your unique gift. You will have little competition,
There you go.
and you will be getting better and better as time goes on. So you will not tire, you
That's
will not
right.
have competition,
That's right.
and you will only improve along the way, and it will be enlivening and energizing to do it. And it's so for each one, I guess as an aside, as we're trying to share, is anybody who can cultivate what they know to be that gift, that use the word calling, is a very powerful thing for them to align what's going on the inside with what they're doing on the outside, right? Alignment.
Yes. Oh my gosh, it's so, so important. And not just alignment with self, but I mean, a higher alignment, making sure that I don't know, there's guidelines, making
Yes,
sure that you're
yes.
following the guidelines. And certainly the integrity comes to play a big, big part of that. So I think we can operate from a place of inner knowing and also take a bigger picture, a bigger perspective, and bring that information through and act on that also. And when we do that, then we're not only living a life of integrity and purpose and passion and love, but we're also bringing the bigger picture through, if that makes sense. And I agree with you. There's no competition. What I love about seeing people that are being authentic and operating from that place is they attract to them exactly the people that are meant to be working with them, right? So I love the saying, um, we attract through attraction rather than promotion, right? I'm sure that's true with you because you have such a charisma about you. I don't know if people tell you that, but you have such a strong charisma about you. And I think that people would be attracted to the energy that you're emanating. So you don't really have to go look for clients. They're coming to you because of the energy that you're putting out there is attracting them. Do you feel that?
Well, I think we can confirm this, because I always think the soft tissue spirituality can be reduced to a thinking person's mind. I believe that. I
Yeah.
believe if it can't, then it's probably just woo woo and foo foo stuff. But right, so I have this pragmatic approach to spirituality. But in quantum physics, yes, we have an entanglement. An entanglement. I think
Yes.
to say it in my own terms, we're resonating and oscillating. Each one of us has a vibrationary. We do. It's measurable. Our hertz cycles are measurable.
Yes.
And as we elevate or as we descend, we are going to attract simpatico or symbiotic
Exactly.
elements
Yes.
in other vessels and beings that are resonating, right? So I didn't mean to turn this into a show of spirituality, but integrity does have that that conceptual application for sure. And so if we are resonating at levels, any one level, if we want to see what's going on the inside, just watch what's going on the outside. You judge a tree by its fruits, right? What's
Absolutely.
going on around it is because
Yes.
what's going on inside of it. And so I think I think the message to our audience is integrity has a powerful impact in how you resonate and what
Yes.
you attract.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
And
I
marketing
feel,
will tell you it's the marketing practical aspect says good marketing is about attracting the right folks and
yes.
repelling the wrong folks. And we don't know who we're repelling because we're not really repelling them. We're just not attracting folks who are the wrong folks.
Yeah.
More and more,
Absolutely.
the clearer we get, the more we attract what's clearly aligned with what we're trying to do. And if we're doing it with integrity, the people arrive with integrity. I think about all my clients today vis-a-vis those that when I started in practice 39 years ago, I had a hodgepodge. It was just like me on the inside. It was a hodgepodge of all sorts of different elements. Well, today, as I've gotten more clear and more pure about it, the people that arrive seem to be arriving with clarity and purity and with high degrees of integrity because that's how they conduct themselves. Because why would they show up with anyone who doesn't have integrity?
Right. I love that. I love that. So attraction rather than promotion and bringing the right people, they just come, right? They just come. So I feel I've been very, very blessed to be working in a field where I attract the most amazing people to that want to turn around and help others. So there are people that are coming, they have integrity, they have passion, and their purpose and the desire of them is to turn around and help others to live a life of passion and purpose, or solve a problem that they may have. And so I get to teach them my method of coaching. So I have a system of coaching because I came from that very linear, logical mindset of programming. I looked at coaching, I go, oh, we just need a system here. There's no system, there's kind of random thoughts. And I'm going, no, okay, if we do these things, we can help our clients transform. The first thing we address is the subconscious mind, because the subconscious mind is where people operate from 90% of the day. So if we can get the subconscious mind on board with where the creative conscious mind wants to go, now the clients don't struggle, because they're operating from a place that's empowering all the time. So that's the first thing we do with my coaching system, is address the subconscious mind. And then we talk about accountability and keeping them on point for moving forward. So during my class, when I get these most amazing people together and we coach each other and take each other through the process of coaching, it's just so rewarding. I feel so blessed to be working with people that are out there to change the world for the better all the time. It's just a blessing, a true blessing. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So when going through professional or personal experiences, can you point out a time where you saw integrity front and center play a role in how things went well?
Yes. Okay. And there's a couple of instances, and I'll just say one of them. Let's say integrity went well. I'd say I'll just share about that experience I was sharing it earlier. I talked to a gentleman the other day on the phone, and he was reaching out because he'd spent $5,000 on a program and he didn't get the results he was expecting. And yet this guy had so much going on. And I knew he didn't need to be trained and certified as a coach. He was already a superstar in his own right. What he needed was encouragement to just get back in the game and do what he was called to do. So in my opinion, that the integrity there is, I didn't try and enroll him into something he really didn't need, another program that he could sign up and get in. All he really needed was the encouragement and the motivation to get out there and do what he was called to do. And he'd already done it. Somehow he'd just fallen off the path. So he just needed somebody to inspire him to get back on the path again. So for me, that's coming from an integrity viewpoint, not convincing him that he needed something else, because he had everything he needed within him already. Another example of how integrity worked out and for the better. I had a business partner, and I probably will never do that again because, you just don't know when you're getting into a relationship like that with a business partner, how it's going to play out until you kind of get in it. Right. And so I found that I had a stronger work ethic than the partner. So that was kind of not really a good cohesive thing. And then I also discovered that there was some inappropriate things happening in terms of accounts receivable. And so that was a lack of integrity on the business partner side. And again, if we go back to what we first talked about, how do we attract that? There must have been something that I needed to learn that lesson. And what I got from it is, I don't want to have a business partner again. I'll be just fine operating and working by myself, if you will, building my own company. And then the other thing is to really be more discerning in who it is that we bring on to play a part in our life, whether it be personal or business-wise. And on a personal level, I had for years, after being married and divorced 3 times, relationships were not working for me. And when I'd meet somebody that wanted to date, I'd say, oh no, I'm married to my work. I can't do that. I can't do the personal thing. It just hasn't worked out for me. And then after, doing a lot of introspection, a lot of work on myself, a lot of, personal it has to do with that raising your vibration or your frequency, the resonance that you're putting out, exactly what you were talking about. And I spent a lot of time working on me. And after I did that, I attracted in a, I'm going to call him my happily forever after. But it took that work and that inner work on me before I attracted a gentleman into my life who I, like I said, I'm like, I feel so blessed to have met my happily forever after. And, um, that just comes from, like you said, the inner work has to go first.
Yes, for sure. It's clear. Um, what When you think about the opposite side, when something lacked integrity, and you watch the situation devolve, can you give an example to our audience about an instance that came across your path?
Oh my gosh. Well, I know there's a lot of information out about narcissism these days. And something that I've discovered, it was a really important message. So one of the important messages I'll say about that is it's extremely important to watch what people do as opposed to what they say. Because there are people, and this, just I'm looking back at a couple of marriages ago, well, even all of them. It's like people don't, if they don't do what they say they're going to do, that should be a huge red flag. Even if it only happens once, even if it's only about, hey, can I borrow $5 and I'll pay you back? If they don't pay you back, it's $5. You go, hey, that was a really good lesson right there. Figure it out. That you might think, oh, that's no big deal. It's just like $5, but that's an indication of who they are. Get a clue. Don't close your eyes to it. Don't shut down. Pay attention to the little things. And that's part of what comes with being discerning, right? Discerning whether somebody has that integrity. But I think the biggest thing to look for is, do the words match the actions? And if they don't, you gotta run, because that's your first clue that this thing is going to go south really fast.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, yeah, it's interesting. So I wrote in the book, I gave credit to one of my business coaches, one of my first business coaches. He said, do four things in life to be successful. You'll be 95% ahead of the pack if you do these four things. The first two are very plain and simple. Show up on time, say please and thank you. And then the two last ones, which account for integrity, said, do what you say you're going to do and finish what you start.
I love that. Yes.
And those two things are so hard for people to do what they say they're going to do and then to finish what they start. I mean, the
Yes.
Missouri, the show me state. Don't tell me, show me.
Exactly. So I got my fourth book out on Amazon. It's called The Power of Life Coaching, and it's a collaboration from all my coaches, not all of them, but 18 of them. Got together and put the book together, and I was marketing to my coaches and selling the opportunity, and one of the coaches goes, well, do you think you'll finish? I go, this is book number 4. Yes, it's gonna happen. So it's like a lot of people don't do what they say they're going to do. Exactly what you said. You need to be confident that you can make it happen and finish what you start. So, I mean, I feel really great. I got that book. I started marketing to the coaches to collaborate in March, and it was published and on sale August 31st. So
Wow.
you just got to make it happen, right? It's so funny that you said finish what you start, because when I was in software, I was a consultant, and I was never out of work, not for one day. But what I've discovered was, and why I got hired, was because a lot of projects would get started, but they wouldn't get finished. And so they'd hire me, and I'd come in and finish the job. It's like, okay, let's just get this thing done. We find out where's the contingencies, what's the holdup. Let's make this happen. So that kept me employed for a very long time. It was good money because if you finish things and you do what you say you're going to do, you will be successful. That's absolutely right. I love that.
Accountable, right? Accountability to be able to do it. And it's there's a couple things that were coming to mind while you were speaking, and about accountability. And you know, I would always say, and this is something I preach to my kids, is there's never enough time to do everything, but there's always enough time to do the important things.
There you go.
Have you
Yeah.
made it important to finish it, right? And if you want to get something done, give it to a busy person. They know how to do it,
I've heard that before. It's like they'll get it done.
right? Busy people know how to get stuff done. So don't tell me you're busy and you can't get it done, because that's not true.
Yes.
You didn't make it important. If you made it important, it would be done, right? That's why you
Absolutely.
took a book from thought to finish in what, 6 months?
Yes. That's right.
That's an accomplishment. Having
Yeah.
written a book and working on a second one, 6 months to get something from thought to finish.
That's pretty cool, huh? Here's the funny thing
Kudos
about
to
that
you.
is
Superpower,
somebody said, "Wow, that was really fast." I went, "It was?"
right? I didn't know better. There's a story.
Exactly.
I think it's a fellow named Cliff Young. I'm pretty sure it's Cliff Young. And this is a story about someone who didn't know better. And I am sure I'm digressing, but it's fun. Our conversation is a lot of fun. So
Yeah.
let me tell this funny story about Cliff Young. Cliff Young was an Australian farmer, a rancher, and they would refer to it as their station. And he shows up for this run. It's a 600-mile long distance duration endurance run between Sydney and Melbourne, I think.
Wow.
I have the correct.
Yeah.
And the story goes back a number of decades. And he shows up in overalls and galoshes to this world-class athlete run to enter the race, and he becomes the attraction. Like, what makes you think you can run with these world-class athletes? And
Right.
Cliff is like in his I think he's like 60 years of age. Well, he
Oh my.
says on our station, our farm, our ranch, we don't have horses, so I chase the cattle by foot.
Oh my
And
God.
that's how I get into shape. So that in and of itself is amazing. But Cliff shows
Yes.
up. He not only enters the race, he wins the race. And in winning the race, he wins by a day and a half.
Holy cow. Oh my God.
So all the world-class athletes knew that you enter this race and you run 18 hours and you rest and sleep 6 hours. Well, Cliff didn't know you're supposed to sleep, so he kept on running.
Oh my gosh.
And what he didn't know is what changed the whole way of doing an endurance race for people. So
My goodness.
just busted right through all sorts of paradigms and all sorts of ceilings in terms of times that are possible. So,
That's amazing. So,
right?
because he didn't know, and that was the same
You
thing.
didn't, you right? You didn't know it takes a year and a half to 3 years to write a book, so I wrote it in 6.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Right?
Yeah.
You're my
Yeah.
Cliff Young
Yep.
in life.
Nobody said. Yeah, I just didn't know.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, we probably can go on and on. We're coming close to wrapping this up, and I'm wondering if you could share with, especially the younger folks in our audience who are aspiring, whether they're aspiring to be into coaching or to write a book or speaking or whatever their calling might be in business or in personal life. You know, one of our previous guests, he was, his calling was in theater and acting. He got into business because he had to pay the bills, but his love is theater and acting, and he's quite an actor too locally. But
Cool.
what would you tell our younger audience in terms of how integrity should play a role in their lives, professionally and personally, for them to level up?
Well, I think that's a really great question, and if you are operating, doing what you say you're going to do, that's integrity right there. If you're keeping your word, I think it comes down to being very conscious about what you're saying, because if you can't follow through on what you're saying, then you shouldn't say it. So get really clear on what it is that you want to do and what you want to make happen in the world, when you get that clarity, understand the steps that it's going to take to make that happen so that you can be really confident that you can make it happen when you say you're going to do something. So, and then that would have you coming from a place of integrity. So I'd say for people that are just listening and maybe they have a career, maybe they're not sure where they want to go, getting a coach to help you get that clarity, that's easy. Just find somebody that can coach you and help you get the clarity of where it is you want to go and the difference you want to make. And then define that path, get that pathway very clear in your mind so that you can start taking those steps and make it happen. And that will keep you on the path of integrity.
Fantastically said. Just brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I knew our conversation today would be brilliant. This is a real bright spot in my day, and it's going to be a bright spot in our audience's minds when they hear everything you had to share. It's been a delight just listening and working through this session with you. I'm really blessed to have had this time, and I'm looking forward to us connecting after this show. But would you tell our audience how they might get in touch with you, whether it's through LinkedIn, email, website? Where's the best places for them to go to get in touch?
Well, my website has all my contact information under the Contact Us menu item. So just hit my website and you'll find me.
And the website is Wainwright Global. Would you spell that out for everybody?
Sure. It's WAINWRIGHT global.com.
And no punctuation between Wainwright and Global, correct?
No, yeah, just WainwrightGlobal.com.
Wainwright Global.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Well, Barbara Wainwright of Wainwright Global, you have been a master teacher for all of us today. It's really been a delight. It's been a blessing, and it's been an honor. The power of integrity is how you live life, and it showed through today.
Thank you.
Real blessed. Okay, everybody, take good care, and we'll talk with you all soon on our next show. Bye for now.
The information presented in this program is provided for informational purposes only. The information is believed to be reliable, but no guarantee of accuracy is made or implied. Expressions of opinions are as of this date and are subject to change without notice. The information in this material is not intended as tax or legal advice. Please consult a legal or tax professional for specific information regarding your individual situation. This information does not constitute a solicitation or an offer to buy or sell any security. Investing involves risks, including possible loss of capital. Ralph Adamo is registered with the securities and are offered through Kovac Securities, Inc., member FINRA, SIPC, 6451 North Federal Highway, Suite 1201, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, 33308. Telephone number 954-782-4771. Investment advisory services are offered through Kovac Advisors, Inc. Integrity Wealth Management is not affiliated with Kovac Securities, Inc. or Kovac Advisors, Inc.